What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Book of Esther, which is a book I absolutely love. And so if you've never read the Book of Esther before, please keep watching. If you've read it before and you want to hear a different perspective, keep watching. In any case, if you're interested in hearing about the Book of Esther, you're in the right place. Now, I am super excited to introduce to you a book that I've written titled For Such a Time as This, that is centered around the Book of Esther. And I am very, 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 very excited about this book. I will put a link down below of where you can purchase the book. This book is available on Amazon in hard copy and wherever good books are sold for the digital copy. True to the tradition of this channel, I'm going to read to you the first page of the first chapter of the book, so that you can get a sense of the writing style of the author, which is yours truly, and you can get a sense of what the book is about. So, chapter 1, Purpose. I find the Book of Esther very fascinating. It is one that I gravitate towards often, and each time I read it, there is always a different and much deeper dimension to learn. The story of Esther is almost a rags to riches story. On face value, it is the story of an orphan girl who rises to become the queen of a nation. On a deeper level, it is the story of redemption and of a God who comes through for his people when they call upon him with sincere hearts. The story of Esther teaches several key lessons to every believer. Two of the major lessons I personally hold dear are that your family background and circumstances and the circumstances surrounding how you grew up don't really matter when God has an assignment for you. Time and time again, God has proven that he doesn't necessarily call the qualified or what people in society deem as acceptable or qualified, but he calls those people that other people could easily look over or cast aside. And so that is the first page of the book. So as I said, I'll leave the link to the book down below. Please be sure to grab a copy and tag me on the Instagrams and social media when you get your own copy. Anyway, so today I'm going to be talking about Esther. Today and in the next following video, I'm going to be focusing on Esther. And so the area of focus for today is an unlikely hero. And so Esther, when I first read the Book of Esther, or actually when I first heard of the Book of Esther, it mostly focused on the 3-day fast that she called for when she heard that Haman, the Agagite, had plotted against the people of God and had put it in circulation a decree not in collaboration but with the agreement of the king to kill all the Jews in the region, in the territory, in the kingdom. And so we see the people of God really in a very, very difficult place. And so that is mostly that was my introduction for the Book of Esther and Esther as a personality. And so after a couple of years of hearing about the Esther fast and the 3-day fast, I went and read the Book of Esther, and my goodness, there is so much revelation, so many nuggets, so many lessons to learn from that book. And so in this video, I'm going to sort of discuss a little bit about Esther herself in that moment where she found herself having to become sort of like a spokesperson for the people of God. And so in her early days, I imagine that Esther did not dream of becoming a queen. First of all, there was already a queen, Vashti, who was in the castle. So I do not think that her thought, like she ever even imagined that she would become queen. And so because she didn't really have any plans to become queen, she was not going in the direction. She was even like, she wasn't in the tribe of the king. So like, looking at it from a physical, natural perspective, I would, if I were Esther, there was no way I would have dreamed of becoming queen. It's this wife, like it just inconceivable. Anyway, so she probably had never dreamed of becoming queen. And so that was something that I thought was really interesting, because she probably never dreamed about being queen. She probably never prepared to become queen. It's similar to the Windsors in Britain, right? Like if a person's going to become king or queen, they're probably being prepared for the role their whole lives, so that when they now step into the role, you know, they know what they're doing, they understand the expectations. But for Esther, it was just something that came as she was older. Queen Vashti refused to do what the king at the time had requested her, and so based off of the advice of the counselors at the time, she was banished and she was removed from being queen, which is a whole other topic on its own that I thought was absolutely interesting and fascinating, and that I go over in detail in the book. And so she probably didn't dream of becoming queen. She probably didn't think about being queen. And so her upbringing, I imagine, was not specifically grooming her to become queen. However, a very interesting concept comes up, that most of the time when God has a purpose and an assignment for you in your life, it doesn't really matter how you grew up. It doesn't really matter what you thought your life was going to become, or the plans that you had for your life that you thought were going to happen. That doesn't really matter. When God has an assignment for you, it doesn't matter how much in your own mind that you think you're unqualified for the job, and that you think that you are not capable, or you are not equipped. God usually calls the people that are the least equipped, the least unlikely, the people that you probably would pass by because you're thinking like, there's no way this person could be chosen. Think about Moses, for instance. Let's look at it from the perspective of the Jews living in Goshen, right? Here is a guy who grew up in the palace, who's so far removed from your experience and your expectations of a deliverer or a leader, that the moment that he comes, okay, so for instance, like the first time he tried to save another Jewish person by killing an Egyptian, the question that they asked him was, who made you a judge and who made you a judge over us? Like, who are you to come here and tell me that I shouldn't be quarreling with my brother? Like, who are you? Because he was not part of the community. He was so far removed from their experiences that you would think that, you know, the people that he's going to deliver would potentially reject him, because they'll be like, you know what, you don't understand what we're going through, you don't understand anything, just leave us alone, you grew up in the palace, you have no idea, right? And then from the perspective of God sending him to be did deliver them, he himself mentioned to God that, God, I am not eloquent of speech. I am slow of speech, and therefore I probably am not the guy to send to talk to Pharaoh about your people, because I'm not really good at talking. Some people, and I think the Message Bible says that he stammered and he stuttered, and so already you would think that Moses is potentially not the guy to go in and deliver or be a leader, right? But then we see not only Moses, we see Rahab, we see multiple times in the Bible where the most unlikely people are sent by God to do his bidding, to do his work. And so it really brings out the idea that your inadequacy, in your idea of inadequacy does not stop God from sending you. And so there is a saying that God does not equip the qualified. No, he doesn't qualify the equipped. He equips. God does not. I'm so messing this up. If somebody knows the saying, please write it down for me in the comments. But it's basically saying that God does not God does not call the qualified. That's correct. God does not call the qualified. So it's not those people that are qualified, that have got all the skills, all the qualities for the assignment that are called. But instead, God calls those that are inadequate but are willing, and then he in turn equips them. It's similar to Paul, right? On his way on a street called Straight, on his way to Damascus, he encountered the Lord Jesus Christ, and he did like a total 180, changed the trajectory of his life from being a person that was killing and torturing the church to a person that is actually, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ and talking about his majesty and his grandeur and his goodness. And he in turn even wrote most of the New Testament. But then, like, in the moment, like, who would think? Because even Ananias asked God and said, do you know this guy? This guy has literally been persecuting us, has literally been trying to kill your people. Are you sure that you want me to go and pray for him? Because like the direction in which he was going, like it was so totally beyond imagination and so far removed from Apostle Paul, who ended up being sent to preach the gospel. So saying all this to say, the story of Esther shows us a young woman who on face value potentially did not have any desire or any thought of becoming queen. On face value was probably not the first pick to be queen in a crowd. On face value was potentially not educated enough, not qualified enough, not prepared or groomed to become queen. But because God has had an assignment and a purpose for Esther, he ensured that even though she was not qualified, even though she could have easily been discounted, she was the one that was chosen to become queen of the nation. And so next in the next video, I'm going to be talking more about how Esther was a shining example of leadership and courage. And so please tune into part 2 of this video. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Again, The book is out for such a time as this, available on Amazon for hard copy and soft copy. If you just want soft copy, it's available on Barnes and Nobles, Google Play, and iBooks, wherever all good books are sold. I will leave a link in the description box below. Anyway, leave me some comments in the comment section below. Have you read the Book of Esther? What are your thoughts about Esther and her being an unlikely hero? Leave a comments for me in the description box below. Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Until next time, see ya.